Are you feeling defeated in your marriage right now? Are you on the receiving end of infidelity, or has maybe your husband decided he wants to separate with you and you feel like you've tried everything but nothing seems to be working? Make sure you watch this video and watch it to the very end so that you can really start to create shifts in this particular mindset. Now, I know that, when you hear these kind of words around trying to overcome these feelings of being defeated, when you're in a defeated state, it can often feel like, yeah, right, like that can really happen, or it's just all too hard. And I get that. But I really want you to know that, people like Angie and Laurie and Sarah and Monique and all these beautiful women that I've worked with over the years, they were also in a really, really difficult place where they often felt defeated. So I just want you to remember to not give up hope. Hope is what allows us to move forward, and that's why I wanted to shoot you this video today. And make sure you hit that subscribe button below and click on that bell notification as well, so every week you get access to my latest videos where I'm talking more about how to save your marriage from the brink of divorce, how to overcome challenges around infidelity, and what you can really do to get to know your husband at the deepest level from a male psychology perspective. Now, as I said, feeling defeated is such a painful feeling, and what it essentially is it's taking us down into what we call the lower levels of consciousness, and it's really taking us into a state of apathy, where we just feel like nothing works. What's the point? It's just all too hard. But then we fluctuate between that and feeling like, I want him so badly. I want that marriage. I want our marriage to work out so badly. I love him. I can't handle the pain anymore. It's just too much. It often feels like death as well, because it can feel like a sense of grief because you're almost grieving the loss of something or a potential loss of something. So I completely empathize with the pain that you're going through. And what I want to do firstly is I want to explain to you the reasons why we get to a place of feeling defeated. Now, the first reason is that often people have unrealistic expectations of what the actual journey or what progress is actually like. You see, people are often falling into one of three camps. Now, the first camp is that they're wanting change, but they're not really at a place where they're really committed to doing it. Then you get other individuals who feel like they've just tried everything under the sun and are so skeptical and so cynical that they don't actually end up taking any kind of action and not really prepared to do any work around that. And then you get a third sort of group of people who genuinely want to grow, genuinely want to heal, but also recognize that the process is not an overnight journey. It can take time, that you have to have patience, that you've got to be prepared to go inward. You've got to be prepared to learn about your husband at a level that you've never learned before. And all of those things, really understanding that and really recognizing that it is a process. It is a journey. It is not like saying, well, I've got a leak in my house and I need to get a builder to come over and basically just fix it. And I'm paying the money to fix it and it gets it done. It's not black and white like that, because we're talking about your own internal journey. You're the one in charge of it. You're the one that's actually creating the decisions in your own mind to take action and to, essentially dive into the inner parts of yourself. You're the one dealing with your own fears. You're the one dealing with your own insecurities. And you have to be the one that, even if you're getting the best tools in the world, that you've really got to embrace them and actually put the fundamental work in. Because the reality is we weren't taught when we were younger how to create an extraordinary marriage. There's so much complexity to it. There's so many nuances and there's so many things that we have to continue to learn about ourselves as well as the other person that makes a relationship often very complex. And no one teaches us these things. So what happens is we take what is kind of a practical view of the world and try and take it into a relationship perspective. And whilst there are some practicalities that you can apply, the truth is that a lot of the time we have to go deep inside of us. We've got to go deep into the other person, really understand their motives and their drivers and so on. And once you get that understanding and you take a balanced approach, then things can actually start to unfold. But if we're at this place where we feel completely lost and defeated, what happens is we create this cyclic pattern where we feel defeated, we feel hopeless, then we sometimes get a little moment where we suddenly feel a sense of hope, or hey, maybe this thing might work, or maybe that thing might work, and you go and put your energy into that and try it and give it a go. Or you may not even give it a go because you're skeptical and you're cynical about it. So then you don't do it, and then you feel even worse and you feel emotional about everything because it's another thing that you feel like you've tried and it hasn't worked, and then it just keeps running around. So it's almost like you go from a place of feeling helpless, feeling defeated, taking micro action and then that not really feeling like it's working, and then feeling helpless and defeated, and we keep cycling around. And that's often because we have completely unrealistic expectations of what the word progress actually means. And we've got to recognize that. So that's the first reason often that people get to a place of feeling defeated. Now the second reason is that they're projecting their past into their future. So what that means is whether that's things that they've tried in the marriage to work on in terms of having conversations or whatever, or whether it's, maybe getting help from a therapist or whoever, and they've had some experiences and it hasn't quite got them the rewards that they were looking for. So what do? They just feel like, you know what, none of this stuff works. I've already tried this, I've tried this, I've tried this, I've tried this and this, and none of it works. So what they do is then they stumble across a situation where someone genuinely might be wanting to get their help, or they might be getting some advice from a friend or whatever, and they want to implement it. They know that it might actually help them on some level, but at the same time they have this belief of, I've tried it all, none of this works anyway. So they don't even bother. And it creates even more feelings of desperation as well. And you might be sitting there going, well, how is it desperation? Because they're almost at a place of defeat. But you can't stay in that place of defeat forever. So what will happen is we'll experience that for a little while, then we'll go towards this desire of, I really want to work on this, and we try and make some changes, we take some advice from someone, we start to apply it. Maybe you're not getting the result that you want in the short term, but it may yield results in the long term. And after a while you do those things and it just feels like, what's the point? And so our intention, our past experiences are then taken into the future, or into the present and then into the future, which then impacts our ability to make the best decisions for ourselves and for our future. A simple way of kind of describing this is the way most people go about trying to get results in the gym. They dabble at a couple of things online, they dabble at a couple of YouTube videos, they try this, they might even invest in something, in a program or whatever, but they're not fully committing to it, or they're not creating the mental shifts in their thinking that only the strategy is what's actually going to work. And so when we only apply strategy but we don't shift our mind about certain things, we are always going to fall short. Our emotional state always precedes the strategic element. We've got to create those shifts on an emotional level. So if you are feeling like I've tried everything, you really want to reframe that belief and say, no, I haven't tried everything. I've tried some things, yes, but there are still more things to try. There are still way more things that you can employ. I promise you that. And this is coming from a guy who has invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in personal growth and done a lot of stuff. Even now, I have to make sure I catch myself and saying, oh, look, I've tried all these things, because I haven't. I've tried a lot of things, but there are still plenty more. And there is still continuously more things that are being developed as well. So you really want to reframe that belief, because that's what's holding you back and making you feel defeated. And thirdly, another reason why we feel defeated is because we step into what we call victim consciousness. We either step into prosperity consciousness or we step into victim consciousness. And prosperity consciousness is when we feel like everything's kind of flowing for us, we're doing really wonderful things, that this is a beautiful place, and that we have the capabilities both internally and externally to allow things to move forward. Victim consciousness is where we start to feel like everything around us is basically punishing us, making us feel like, we're not capable of getting the results that we're looking for, that it's just a lost cause, that it's pointless, that it's just, there's no point of even making any real effort. And look, I get that, and I know just hearing those words, victim consciousness, might be a little bit triggering for some of you. But I really want you to understand that if you can step out of that place, things can really start to shift when you realize that life is actually working, for you rather than against you all the time. Once again, things can really start to move forward. And look, I get it. Like, I know that, your husband might be cheating on you, that he might have said, look, I want to make this work, and then he comes home and he goes back into those old patterns. It almost feels like we're going, 5 steps forward and then 10 steps back, and, all of these things, I so understand it. But no matter what your circumstances are, and no matter how difficult it is, if we can actually raise our consciousness and really get to a place of prosperity consciousness and feeling like things are actually unfolding for our highest good, then things can really start to unfold in a beautiful, beautiful way. We start to change the meaning. We start to change our perception of everything. Now, how do we shift all of this? How do we get out of this mindset of feeling defeated? Well, the first thing is you've got to recognize that all healing comes from within first. I always say this to people. If people are wanting to work on their marriage, you can understand the strategy component. You know, that's the 20%, if you like. The real work is the work on the inside. That's what we're talking about, the real level of healing. Are you dealing with wounds of inadequacy? Are you dealing with wounds of rejection? Are you dealing with wounds of abandonment? Are you dealing with, you know, the deeper challenges that you've had to face maybe when you were younger and so on, and it's being created in the relationship itself? What are those things? You've got to understand that all healing must come from within. Don't expect you to just kind of apply a couple of things and then everything works out. Some of you might be sitting there going, but hang on, how is that someone else over there, like Monique or Laurie or someone, was able to save their marriage just quickly and create these shifts? So I can promise you now that they have done a lot of work leading up to that point. Things don't happen overnight. You've got to really go deep on the inside. So that's the first thing, and I really want you to reframe that understanding of that. You've got to really recognize that healing comes from within first. Secondly, you've got to get your needs met in better quality ways. Now here's the thing, a lot of the time in my work, I'll often get messages from people who aren't even actual clients, who will message me and send me long emails about their problems, and they'll repeatedly send different messages on a regular basis. And I get that, and my heart aches for them in terms of their pain. But the fact that they're doing that, the fact that they're constantly writing these messages and just sharing them regularly and so on, tells me that their needs are being met in less than ideal ways. And when I say needs, what I mean is that we all have a need fundamentally for connection with ourselves and also to feel significant. And what that means is not that we enjoy feeling crappy, but that this pain that we're in is so intense and such a big pain in our life that we use the narrative and the story and the experiences that we have to meet that fundamental need on the inside. And look, I have done this so many times, it's not even funny, so there's no judgment. If we can find better ways to meet our needs on the inside, then you're going to find more joy and more happiness. If you're sensing security, maybe your need for security can be met through a belief in God, or just a level of confidence on the inside, knowing, you know what, I've got this. I can achieve whatever I want. I can have that marriage that I want. I can experience whatever I want. I'm capable of doing that, rather than looking at from the outside to try and get those needs met on the inside. Does that make sense? And then thirdly, what you want to be doing is really committing to healing those emotional wounds. As I said before, healing those wounds of inadequacy and rejection and abandonment and the other deeper emotional scars that I often talk about in my program. When you heal those, everything can start to shift. I promise you, like, you start to heal those and it's almost miraculous in a lot of ways. It really is. But it doesn't happen overnight. It's like you make these shifts, you really allow them to sink in at a deeper level, and then suddenly things start to unfold in a beautiful way. But you're not having this expectation for it. You're not sitting there being desperate for it. It's almost like you've got this beautiful grounded self that goes, I just know that whatever's going to come my way, I'm ready for, and I'm going to be okay with it, and everything is going to be for my highest good. And when you start to do that, when you really go deep on the inside, I tell you now, it's really, really powerful stuff. So I understand that, you know, some of you might have found this video a little bit tricky to digest because of the confronting nature of it. But I all want you to know that whenever I shoot these videos, I come from a place of love, because my goal here is simple, and that is to help you all to heal, to help you to find true peace, true joy on the inside, and have that marriage that you want. But I'll tell you right now, you know, if we don't focus on our own growth, even if the husband comes back, it'll only fall back into those old habits unless you're actually creating those shifts on the inside. And what that does is allow promotion of healing and transformation in the other person as well. So if you're at a place where you are stuck, if you're feeling defeated and you feel like you're ready to start embarking on a path that's actually going to help you, you know, really heal over a long period of time and create those shifts, and that you want to be a part of a beautiful community of women who are there to support you each step of the way, then I'd love to serve you through my program, the Authentic Relationship System. It's an amazing program. comprising of a lot of in-depth content as well as an incredible support structure that we've got. And it's going to really help you to heal on the inside, really awaken your goddess within, and also help you to go deep into male psychology and the communication aspect of it. As you do that, I think it's going to be really, really wonderful long term for you, no matter how things unfold in terms of your marriage, or no matter what challenges are thrown at you. You are just going to be in a really beautiful place that's going to really, you'll have the tools and the strategies to be able to manage yourself no matter what. And so if it feels right for you, if you connect with me, if you resonate with my work, then all you need to do is in the description section below, just click on that link which says book a call with me. Just click on that link, choose a time that works for you, and then I'll contact you just so I can learn a little bit more about you, where you're at. It'll be an absolute privilege to serve you. And if you want to jump on board, then we can absolutely help you to be a part of this incredible community of amazing women, plus a New Zealander like myself as well. So I'm really excited to be of service to you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, make sure you hit the like button below. If you want to get more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. And do let me know what your biggest takeaway is, or if you have any comments or questions in any of these videos. I always love reading the comments, so make sure you write them below, and I promise I'll respond to every single one of you. And if you want to learn whether your husband is going through a midlife crisis, just click this video above. And if you want to figure out how to overcome the mixed messages that you're getting from him, click this video above. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you in the next video.